26th of March 2005, the BBC started releasing Season 1 of Doctor Who's first soft reboot, with Christopher Eccleston as the Ninth Doctor, and the very first companion of the first season is a young blonde woman called Rose. All these years later, Doctor Who experienced another soft reboot, and the first season started with Ncuti Gatwa's Doctor meeting a young blonde woman called Ruby. Yeah, I mean, it really doesn't take a genius to realize that this is a pretty damn obvious parallel, but I bet you didn't notice this bit. In episode 1, season 1 of Disney Who, the Doctor takes Ruby on her first ever off-world adventure. Also, yes, I'm going to be calling the current Doctor Who Disney Who because the old Doctor Who was already given the name New Who, and I don't want to call this one New Who. And also, while I'm on that note, remember to like and subscribe because why not? Anyway, they meet a very scary monster and some very sophisticated and sometimes very CGI looking babies, but that isn't the important part. In the beginning of the episode, the Doctor and Ruby end up at the front console of a ship with a massive window overlooking a planet below. Now, first of all, Ruby actually questions why all this alien shiz is actually in English, and the Doctor does Doctor things explaining that the TARDIS translates it. And then Ruby points out that her mum is long gone by now, and the Doctor keeps on doing Doctor things when he gives her phone that timey-wimey update that will let her call anyone at any point in time and space. What's really interesting about this, though, is that we have seen this exact scene before when the Ninth Doctor takes Rose on her very first off-world adventure. It's literally the same. She sits in front of a big space window, wonders why everything is in English, and then cries about her mum being long dead, so the Doctor gives her that same timey-wimey signal boost. It's a very deliberate callback meant to parallel the last time Doctor Who started anew with Season 1 in 2005. It's little things like this that really make me appreciate having Russell T Davies back as showrunner, because these parallels and details are what make Doctor Who so special in my opinion. Oh, and speaking of Russell T Davies, I wanted to quickly point out some things used in the recent episodes that we haven't seen since Russell T Davies gave us David Tennant's 10th Doctor run. Now, honestly, having him back as showrunner makes me feel so nostalgic, which I admit is probably why I like these new seasons so much. But the main thing that I wanted to point out was how we saw a very familiar news reporter during the 60th anniversary special called The Giggle. Her name is Trinity Wells, and she used to appear all the time in David Tennant's run many years ago. It's a very Russell T Davies era thing that we haven't seen in a very long time, but even the way the camera zooms in on her face dramatically is a direct callback to the 10th Doctor's seasons. There are also many other things like camera angles, reveals, aliens disguising themselves as humans, and so on, that were very prevalent in Russell T Davies' era of Doctor Who, which ironically were kind of lost to time. Until now. Anyway, enough nostalgia. It's time to talk about the elephant in the room and the main focus of these new seasons, the Pantheon of Discord. Now, the Pantheon of Discord are literally gods from beyond the universe with terrifying powers, as we've recently seen from the likes of the Toymaker, Maestro, Lux, and of course Sutekh, the God of Death. Now, sure, lots of people will know that Sutekh was actually a classic Who villain from back in Tom Baker's era, but I bet a load of you didn't notice that we've seen many of these gods as villains before in modern day Doctor Who. You see, the Pantheon of Discord has actually been a concept within Doctor Who for a very long time, and the most recognizable god among them is almost definitely the Trickster. Much like how the Toymaker used that superstitious line of salt to cross into the real world, the Trickster used to try and create a weak point in time by changing fixed events and then using that to break through. He was actually the main villain of 2 different Sarah Jane arcs, one of which was so dangerous that the 10th Doctor had to make an appearance and save them all. Now, the Trickster himself might only show up in Sarah Jane, but the Trickster's Brigade is actually something brought up in Doctor Who on various occasions, the most obvious being the weird space beetle that was on Donna's back in Turn Left. The Trickster's Brigade is also referenced by Captain Jack in an episode of Torchwood, and of course the Trickster himself was given an honorary mention by name when Sutekh's Harbinger started hard glazing all of them gods. Anyway, next up is a detail which is yet again brought to us by the Pantheon of Discord. Lux, the God of Light, traps the Doctor and Belinda in a film tape in the episode called Lux. The pair then break their way out of the screen and actually end up in some Doctor Who fans' living room. And yes, that's right, this is meant to be them crossing between their fictional universe and the real world where we watch Doctor Who. And then after taking in all the information about being a fictional TV series, and seeming very calm about it, by the way, the Doctor asks his fans what their favourite episode is, and of course they answered Blink, the highest ever rated episode of Doctor Who with a whopping 9.8 out of 10 on IMDb, because it's amazing. Now, sure, to us viewers, Blink is absolute cinema, but notice how the Doctor's reaction to them saying this is one of disapproval and almost boredom. Well, that's because from the Doctor's perspective, he's not actually in that episode much at all. Now, sure, this is a fun little shallow detail on its own, but his reaction and the way he casually asked the question actually makes me wonder if he is well aware that he lives in a show and that maybe he has even watched it himself. Also, me personally, I think the second highest rated episode, Heaven Sent, should have been the answer because the Doctor definitely put in the work and would have definitely appreciated us saying that one because, like, you know, it only took him a couple billion years to get out of it. Anyway, moving swiftly onwards. In episode 1, season 2 of Disney Who, the Doctor shows Belinda these weird-ass X-ray blankets that don't use radiation, which is, like, cool, I guess. I mean, I don't know how you're X-raying someone without radiation, but whatever, it's Doctor Who. Probably best not to question it, to be honest. Anyway, when we then hear the Doctor's heartbeat, it sounds like this.
Wow.
Yeah, that sounds real familiar, doesn't it? Here, I'll give you a little help, okay? Yeah, that's right. It is the iconic sound that John Smith's Master hears when he was one of David Tennant's antagonists. Now, it's actually explained that the sound the Master kept hearing was actually the heartbeat of a Time Lord. So no, this probably isn't some elaborate foreshadowing of the Master's return, again, but it is an accurate depiction of what a Time Lord's heart sounds like, which is something they have forgotten to include in previous times where we have heard his heartbeat or the heartbeat of another Time Lord. Now, this next detail is about the significance of 73 yards from the episode 73 yards. Basically, 73 yards is actually the range of the TARDIS's perception filter, at least I believe that's the case. Old, creepy, stalkery Ruby wasn't actually noticed by anyone unless Ruby pointed her out, which is literally how a perception filter works in Doctor Who. I don't know, I just found this little detail really cool. Anyway, moving on yet again. And another kind of fun and overall irrelevant detail is found within the Time Hotel in the most recent Christmas special. Basically, there's a load of different doors in the hotel leading to different points in time, but one of them is just a Hobbit Hole. Like, it's straight up just Bilbo Baggins' door. It's even to scale because it's blatantly smaller than all the other doors. God knows why they decided to include this, but I love Tolkien's universe, so of course I'm cool with it anyway. Right then, let's finally talk about some hidden details found in 2x3, aka The Well, which is the most recent episode as of making this video. And damn, what a mind-blowing episode it was, because holy cabbage, I was not expecting a sequel to Midnight. Do you know how long ago Midnight was? That's crazy. I mean, it was just done so damn well. Like, from the way we never get to see the monster fully, to how the Doctor kept lingering behind to see what it really looks like out of pure curiosity. The whole episode was just so Doctor Who, you know? Anyway, there are a couple of details to unpack from this episode. Firstly, I speculate that the reason the creature knows the Doctor's name is because it remembers it from when it inhabited the Doctor's body and mind. And secondly, did you notice that when they got in the elevator at the end, it said it registered 4 life forms, even though there were only 3 of them in there? That is a pretty neat detail, I must admit. Okay, anyway, I'm just gonna move on and talk about some of the more obvious little details that we might have not picked up on, like how breaking the fourth wall seems to be a recurring theme so far in the season, what with that freaky ass Mrs. Flood always whispering to us in the background. Now, Maestro also played the Doctor Who intro on the piano, and the Doctor and Belinda literally walked out of the screen. So yeah, definitely a lot of fourth wall breaking to pay attention to. Maybe we're going somewhere with this, you know? And then there is the Master. He's still stuck inside a gold tooth, which was whisked away by some unknown person. I tell you what though, whoever they were, they must be pretty damn good at climbing, because like, how they're reaching to grab something on the edge of a skyscraper without anybody noticing, I have absolutely no idea. But yeah, that's about it. If you enjoyed the video and want to see more, then be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. If you are an anime watching, manga reading nerd like myself, then make sure to check out my main channel, link below. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you in a bit.